Alright, so multiplying fractions is actually a really straightforward thing, and most of the time, unless we're dealing with fairly large numbers in the numerator and denominator, I can multiply any given fractions faster than I could enter them into my calculator. To multiply fractions, you're going to multiply across the numerator, so 2 times 3 is 6, and then you're going to multiply across the denominator, and 3 times 5 is 15. Now, something you may notice is that 6 and 15 are both divisible by 3, so we can go ahead and divide that out or reduce the fraction. And again, this is the kind of stuff that I think is a lot faster just to do instead of leaning on your calculator. If you lean on your calculator, it's going to go straight to the reduced result. Alright, so I want to look at this a little differently. With fractions and you're multiplying them, you multiply across the top, you multiply across the bottom, and then you can reduce out common factors that are the same top and bottom. But you can do the division before the multiplication. Multiplication and division are essentially the same operation, just in forward and reverse, and so they can happen in any order as long as you respect what's being asked. And so essentially what I'm saying is I could divide this 3 and this 3 starting out, and that would reduce those down to a 1. When we talk about reducing fractions, it's the same idea as this division. We're using those words interchangeably. So once I go ahead and divide those 3's out from the beginning, I'm dividing a 3 out of the top, I'm dividing a 3 out of the bottom, then I'm going to do the multiplication across the top, but now I'm doing 2 times 1 because that's what I got when I divided that 3 down. That's going to be a 2. And then across the bottom, I'm going to do the 1 times the 5, and that's going to give me the 5. So you can do this reduction before you multiply, and that's actually how I prefer to do it, because I like to make numbers small before I make them large, because it's easier to deal with smaller numbers. So I tend to do, unless I miss it, I tend to do fraction multiplication this way, where I reduce out anything I can reduce or divide out anything I can reduce the same, top and bottom, before I do the multiplying.